For a lot of people, the book of Psalms is kind of their go-to book. It's what they really enjoy and they go to when they need comfort or direction. That hasn't been the case for me. Psalms has not ever been my go-to book, but I've been reading in it lately just to get a little bit more familiar with it. And today I came across a verse that was pretty interesting in Psalm 9, verse 8. It says, talking about the Lord, "He will judge the world in righteousness. He will govern the peoples with justice." Let me read it again. "He will judge the world in righteousness. He will govern the peoples with justice." I think this tells us two things. First of all, why Christians don't need to seek revenge. We don't need to even the scales out and make sure things are set right when someone sins against us, because we know that God will judge the world in righteousness. In the end, He will make things right. He will make sure that justice is served. That's the first thing it tells us. Then secondly, I get a little uncomfortable when I start hearing about God's justice, because if I'm thinking about the fact that I'm a sinner, I don't really want God's justice if I'm a sinner, because that means His judgment is going to come down on me, and that's not going to be good. But God's justice can be a very comforting thing when we think about the fact that God has made a promise. In the scriptures we find that He promises that His Son is going to take away our sins. And that Son that was born in Bethlehem, who went to the cross, who suffered and died, who's doing all that for us so that our sins could be forgiven. If God is just, that means He can't take that promise back. And so the fact that He is just is comforting to us. He's not going to say, well, I don't know, my Son's work doesn't count for you. No, He can't do that. The price has been paid, and God's justice is something that we can be glad about.